Hey, how you doing, Bart?
Good to see you. Again, I saw Mike just last week at Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good one. It was. I've been doing pretty well this year. Usually I'll pick some films that maybe don't resonate with the community, but this year it's been pretty good. We had a pretty great turnout for Dr. Strangelove, and the week before, crazy turnout for 12 Angry Men. It was huge. We had over 100 people. It was incredible.
Wow. So I would have come to that, but I had just seen it on cable like
Sure.
2 months ago.
Yeah, and it really held up. Afterwards I talked to the students about it, and younger people for the most part, and they really engaged with it. So it's always great to, it makes me feel good when I pick something that resonates with not just the community, which is a little older, right?
Right.
But also with my students who are younger. So
That's right.
It's nice to pick some pictures that anyone can identify with.
That's an interesting point because I often wonder, what are these, 18, 20-year-old people thinking about, something that happened or was filmed in the 60s.
Right.
But that's part of the class, like you have like a theme of the week, right?
Right, yeah. It's we set it up. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do when I set up the semester's classes and the films that I choose. I like to go chronologically, which some of my cohort don't quite agree with. But I always like to go chronologically because we need to see how we've built upon film history, right?
I like that rather than going back and forth.
Right. And then every week I've got an idea of where I want to go, but I usually just let the students take it.
All right, let's see what's coming up. We just had Bonnie and Clyde.
Just had Bonnie and Clyde, yeah. And we talked about New Hollywood. We talked about Revolution. We talked about, kids of that day, not feeling like they belong, that kind of thing.
The Revolution, where it was the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah. We're talking about the social revolution,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. And next week we're watching Dawn of the Dead, which is George Romero's second zombie picture.
Perfect. Just in time for Halloween.
Exactly right. I like to try to put a horror one in there. Right?
I know you like horror movies.
Yeah, a little too much, but it's all right.
All right, and being his second movie, what was his first?
The first one was Night of the Living Dead, which came out 10 years before in 1968. Mm-hmm. And I like George Romero's pictures because they're fun horror zombie pictures, right? Mm-hmm. But they always he doesn't have a light touch when it comes to the social commentary. And so it's fun to watch because it's a little heavy-handed, but it works really well in a film class because then the students can identify and they can see, oh, that's what the film's trying to say. Mm-hmm. It's saying this about the historical, social context of the time.
Do your students, will they be honest if they don't like something? Will they tell you it just was?
For sure. They will definitely tell me. And if they don't tell me, I can usually tell when it's the discussion part of class. And I say, so what did we get out of this thing? What did we learn? And it's just crickets sometimes.
Was Godfather one of your movies?
No, I don't. I like to have time afterward to talk about it. And if I run a 3-hour movie,
that's too long.
Then there's no time.
Yeah.
The last time something didn't land with my students that I thought would was when we watched the Beatles movie, A Hard Day's Night.
Really?
Yeah, and I love that movie, and it's a good reflection of a movement that was happening over in France, the French New Wave, and it was the British response to the French New Wave, and they just didn't care, and that's fine.
Yeah,
they're allowed to not care.
All right, then moving on after the horror.
Yep, after Dawn of the Dead, 78. Like I said, I like to move chronologically, and we move into the 80s. 1980 exactly, I think we watched The Elephant Man, directed by David Lynch.
Academy Award winner.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. We'll see. We'll see if it resonates. Like I said, I know that I'm going to be a mess at the end of the movie, right? I know I'm going to be weeping openly.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're okay seeing their professor weep openly. Hopefully they've been weeping openly as well. So we'll see. And then after that, you will not be surprised to find that we'll be watching Silence of the Lambs.
Oh no!
Yeah, because I can't stop showing horror pictures, Bart.
Wow. Well, Hannibal Lecter has been in the news lately.
Right, for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's not a real person. It's all fiction.
That's what I've heard.
Yes.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
And then we move into the 90s. We watch Friday, which is a classic comedy. Mm-hmm. And then we move into a movie that I've been afraid to show because I was worried that too many of my students had seen it. But based upon reactions and discussions with my students, they haven't seen some of the movies that I assumed were popular, and we're going to be watching The Matrix, the original film from 1999, and I'm very excited to see what they think about it.
Because it was really the best of the Matrix movies,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And typically the original, you can never...
More often than not.
Yeah.
More often than not. I would say, at least in recent memory, the only film that I can think of that surpasses its predecessors is probably Mad Max Fury Road, which we talked about, a couple years ago when I was sitting right here.
Awesome. How many students do you have in your class?
I usually have a small number. It's usually a nice little intimate group of 15 or 16. This semester I've got 25. Which is awesome. Incredible, which is great.
And the general public, they're invited to hang out after the movie? And
they most certainly are. Okay. The only thing that they're not allowed to see is the pre-movie talk, which starts at 6 o'clock. But after the movie stops, after the movie ends and the credits roll, I am always thrilled when members of the community stick around to talk about it. Just with 12 Angry Men, I had a young woman and her 2 sons. And she said, "Can we stick around?" And I said, "Why not?" She said, "They're really into thinking about film in a serious way." And I said, "Let's do it." And during the discussion, I asked an obnoxious technical question. I said, "Can anyone tell me what a tracking shot is?" And none of my students knew. And one of the boys in the back, he's like shuffling around in his seat, and his mom's nudging him. And I was like, "Something going on in the back over there?" He raises his hand. He had the answer. It was fantastic.
Awesome.
I love it. So yeah, I would love it if more people stuck around to have a nice chat about the movie afterward.
Well, maybe I will. I'll just kind of eavesdrop on what the kids are saying.
Let's do it, Bart.
All right. Outside of the film series, what else is there that you're excited about, either on TV or on the movie screen?
If I'm going to be honest with you, Bart, the Detroit Tigers.
Ah, yes, the
Tigers. That's what I've been watching on TV lately.
And I was wrong this morning. I said 1.5 games away from securing that wild card spot. They're 2 games ahead at this point. 2 games ahead,
yeah.
Not 1.5.
And there's a lot of playoff math, right? If they win out, they're in. And then if we lose a few games, it all comes up to what how the Twins perform. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But in movie news, I actually and we're getting deep in the weeds here. But last weekend I saw the new Transformers movie.
Oh.
And I'm a child of the 80s. I grew up, with the toys. Mm-hmm. But I've never been very happy with the films, ever. None of the live action ones were very good, the Michael Bay movies, right? Mm-hmm. But this new one that came out this weekend was an animated movie, completely CGI. And it was incredible. I loved every minute of this thing. I can't recommend it highly enough to people of all ages.
Well, interesting. Do you still have a Transformer at your house?
I do, Bart. I do. I have my favorite Transformer, Astro Train, sitting right there on my desk.
And do you have a Godzilla?
Of course. In my office over at Jackson.
Yeah. How about TV? Have you seen any of the new Menendez brothers thing on Netflix?
I have not.
No.
I have not. We haven't been, like I said, all we watch is the Tigers. I haven't been watching any narrative television. But I did see that the show that we talked about a few weeks ago, Shogun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not a few weeks ago, months ago, won more Emmys than any TV show had ever won, which is incredible because it is truly incredible television.
See, I know you were a big fan of it, and I was going to watch it, and then I forgot about it. And now with the Emmys, I thought, okay, well, if the Emmys love it, then I should check it out.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we can't always trust those awards, but, it's not a bad barometer either, so fair enough.
So The Bear is one of those shows that I don't trust the Emmys because I think it's just overhyped. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's 22 minutes, and it's just, there's not a long stretch for the actors. They're playing, just one-dimensional characters, really.
Sure. It's not working for you.
I don't think so.
Angry restaurant owner, angry restaurant diner.
Open the restaurant already.
It's not moving the needle. That's all right.
I don't know. Maybe I just need to give it a couple more episodes.
There you go, right?
I know you like it, so. Is it over yet?
I have no idea. I think it's running right now.
Yeah, so fall really is the best time for sports on TV.
For sure.
Fall football, the Tigers, hopefully they're going to keep going.
Right.
Awesome. All right, next Monday, come to see
Dawn of the Dead
at the Michigan Theater.
Yeah, the doors open for the public at 7 o'clock. Movie starts at 7:15. It's about 2 hours long, a little over that. We'll start talking about it at 9:30, and we'll see what comes of it.
I'll see you then. Thanks, Mike. From Jackson College and the Jackson College Film Series Entertainment Correspondent, Mike Marra. Wow, we've